Hey everyone, we're here for another episode of Overrated, Underrated, and today we're going to be talking about fitness.
Zumba.
Zumba is properly rated. It's an enjoyable class. You know, the thing I like about classes is it gives people a time to put in a diary, schedule it in, and then show up. And then Zumba is an enjoyable class that people go to, meet other people, burn some calories, and have a laugh. So Zumba is properly rated.
Running.
Running is overrated. I think a lot of people believe that they have to run in order to lose weight, or they've just never enjoyed running and they feel like that's got to be the form of exercise that they do. Running is amazing, and you know, a lot of people get like a runner's high and you can burn a lot of calories and you can get super fit, but a lot of people don't enjoy running, and there are plenty of other ways to exercise. So in my opinion, running is overrated.
Resistance bands.
Resistance bands are wildly overrated. You know, you're not able to keep the tension the same throughout the movement. They've just been slammed by like every influencer online as if they're like going to build you the biggest glutes in the world or the biggest muscles in the world. They're not going to be better than actually lifting weights. And yeah, they just, most of the time you're having to do like a short range of motion. So resistance bands, in my opinion, are wildly overrated.
Shake weight.
Shake weights are just ridiculous. I mean, what does this motion remind you of?
Introducing the Shake Weight, a spring-loaded workout device you pump with your arms. Just grab the piston and go to work.
I can't even comment on it. It's just a ridiculous thing, and I can't even believe people bought into it or still buy it. It's not rated because it's ridiculous.
Glute bridges.
Glute bridges are underrated. A lot of people don't do a glute bridge or a hip thrust in the gym. You might see a lot more people doing them online nowadays, but it hasn't been like a staple movement for that long, and a lot of people aren't doing that movement. A lot of guys don't do that movement, even a lot of girls don't do that movement, and it's a very, you know, the glutes are big muscles, so some of the biggest muscles in your body, and doing a properly executed glute bridge or hip thrust where you're building your glutes to get them strong is definitely very advantageous.
Ab roller.
Ab rollers are properly rated. They're a tough exercise, really good for your core stability, definitely challenge your core, and there's lots of progressions and regressions with doing the exercise. So an ab roller is properly rated.
Donkey kicks.
Donkey kicks are overrated. I think a lot of people think they're going to do these donkey kicks and they're going to be able to build these really nicely shaped glutes and build muscle on the glutes. There's just not enough tension. It would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger picking up 1 kilo dumbbells or 2 kilo dumbbells and thinking he was going to build the biceps that he did. It isn't going to happen. There's not enough tension, there's not enough weight, and then you see people doing them on like the Stairmaster. So they'll be walking up the Stairmaster for like 20 minutes doing a kickback on each one. It's an exercise, it has its place, but it's wildly overrated.
Power plates.
Power plates are overrated. I think a lot of gyms invested in this piece of kit, you know, 10, 15 years ago, and it's just not a good piece of kit. You know, you can't stand on something, hit a button for 3 minutes, shake away, and I think that's going to be put on like, you know, a lot of tension on your muscles. I do think this is a piece of kit that we'll see die out of a lot of gyms as the years go on.
Walking 10,000 steps.
Walking 10,000 steps is underrated, and it doesn't always have to be 10,000 steps. It's just doing as many steps as you can. With our clients, we like to set like a step goal for the week. So like say, instead of saying like 10,000 steps a day, we'd say 70,000 steps a week, which can break down as an average of 10,000 a day. But having the weekly average allows you to be able to do a little bit more one day or a little bit less, just because, you know, life does happen and sometimes things get in the way. But doing 10,000 steps a day or 70,000 steps a week is going to increase your non-exercise activity, or the calories you burn from your non-exercise activity, and this is going to speed up your metabolism by a lot. You know, for most people, this is going to vary from like 300 to 500 calories extra per day, and if you add that up over the week, it's a lot of extra calories. You know, if you think about a standard gym workout for most people can be like 300 to 500 calories burned. You know, you might go to the gym 3 times a week, that's 1,500 calories, but if you do 10,000 steps a day, you know, that could be 3,500 calories. Yeah, my math is right there. And, you know, that's going to really add up on your calories burnt for the week. And if you're trying to lose weight, it's going to mean that you can lose weight faster because you're able to burn more calories. Or if you're just trying to maintain your weight because your metabolism is sped up by this extra expenditure, it means you get to eat more food, and that also means it's harder to gain weight. So 10,000 steps is wildly underrated, and people should definitely be getting out there and walking more.
Peleton.
Peleton is, I'm gonna say Peleton is properly rated. The brand may be overrated right now, but you know, getting a bike or getting a piece of a kit at home, especially with the way the world's gone over the past, 12 to 18 months, having an exercise bike where you can put, an instructor in front of you and follow along at a class, or you can put like Netflix on and watch an episode or something for 60 minutes and get some exercise in. I think that's really, really underrated. It's a comfortable environment to do it in your home. There's no excuse of like, oh, I haven't got time to drive to the gym or whatever else. It's an easy way of burning a lot of calories. And honestly, like, anytime you jump on a piece of CV kit or like a treadmill or a bike or whatever else, the first couple of minutes while your heart rate's coming up and you're getting used to, breathing a little bit heavier, that's a little bit uncomfortable, but after a couple of minutes, you do just forget about it. And especially if you're watching something entertainment on the TV or on Netflix, or even doing a class, very quickly, like 45 to 60 minutes can go. And it's a great way of just burning a lot of calories without actually really realizing that you're doing so.
Bicep curls.
Bicep curls are overrated, just because it's kind of like that, coming from me as well, overrated, but bicep curls are overrated because a lot of people think it's like this staple exercise that they've possibly got to do. You can build a lot of muscle in your biceps by doing chin-ups, which are a compound exercise, so you're going to use more muscles. And you're always, anytime you look at that structure in a program, you're always going to want to look at building your compound exercises in first. They're the bigger exercises that use more muscles, and you're going to be able to get stronger in those movements. And isolation exercises have their place if you're looking to build a lot of muscle in one area. But for me, I wouldn't be programming bicep curls in for beginners, even intermediates, unless they really wanted to add muscle into that area.
Slendertone for toning, strengthening and firming abdominal muscles.
I think these are the belts that you put on and they vibrate again and apparently tone and work the muscles while you just lie on the couch and do absolutely nothing. These are wildly overrated and a huge waste of money. No, you cannot just wear a belt that shakes your fat and expect to get abs. It doesn't happen. That's not how it works. Do not waste your money on that stuff.
Toning shoes.
Toning shoes, I've never even heard of them, but they sound absolutely ridiculous, so overrated.
Sauna suits.
Sauna suits are overrated, and I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to put this sauna suit on, I'm going to sweat more, and because I'm sweating more, I'm burning more calories. And that's not how it works. Like, your genetics can determine how many calories you actually burn, but just because you are warming yourself up more and getting hotter doesn't necessarily mean that you're having a harder workout or burning more calories. They can be quite dangerous as well, especially when people wear them and get in like a sauna. I wouldn't advise them. You don't need to use them to lose weight, and they're not really going to add, like, you're never going to see like an athlete who's performing at their absolute best, wearing a sauna suit to work out. It's going to hinder their performance, not help it.
Lifting weights.
Lifting weights is underrated, massively, massively underrated, and a lot of people should be lifting more weights, especially if we want to improve the overall quality of our life as we get older. Having more muscle on your body means that you will live to an older age. So there's that. Then there's things like osteoporosis, if I even said that correct. By lifting weights and training or doing resistance training, we can reduce the chances of this happening as we start to get older, especially in women. And again, lifting weights just has a ton of benefits. You feel strong, you feel empowered. You can lift heavy stuff. You can go from the car with all the shopping bags, and you can do it in one trip. There's lots of benefits. If you've got kids, you can hold a kid on one arm, and a lot of the mums I've trained have been like, yeah, actually getting strong is actually being really practical and beneficial. And then obviously there's all the physical attributes that come from that. You feel better, your clothes fit better, you feel stronger, you see more definition. So lifting weights, there's a ton of benefits to it, and it's wildly underrated. Everyone should be doing it. CrossFit is properly rated. I actually encouraged my girlfriend Steph to go and do CrossFit because she loved being in a class environment, and she loved that competitiveness of being in a class, having a set time to turn up, and she was already, really, really strong. The problem I have with CrossFit sometimes is a lot of people go and do CrossFit, and it's a lot of Olympic lifts, and you have to be mobile. I think the injury rate of doing CrossFit is higher than rugby, And for you guys in America, that's like American football, but without any of the headgear. So it's a high impact sport, and obviously one that people get injured in a lot, and CrossFit's higher than that. So, you know, that's concerning, and it's a lot of people trying to get into positions that they're not mobile enough to get into, or they're not strong enough to get into. Now, I'm not trying to take it away. There's some great CrossFit coaches out there that really help and support people get mobile first and take them into CrossFit. But I just know far too many people who have started CrossFit and got injured because they've tried to run before they can walk. So CrossFit is properly rated, lots of benefits, great to be in that class environment, and great to be with other people who are being competitive. But just make sure you're mobile enough first and you've got a baseline level of strength. Yoga is underrated, and I think, you know, nowadays everyone's a lot more sedentary and sat down and not moving as much, and we're all getting like a lot stiffer, a lot tighter. People are like on the phones, looking down, your head's coming over, you're hunched over at a desk on a computer. It's not great for your posture, and you'll just start to get stiff, which can lead to further injuries down the line, or you can start to create like a little bit of a limp, or your shoulders can drop, and you don't notice these things, you know, in your 20s, maybe start to feel them a little bit in your 30s, but you know, as you get into your 40s and your 50s, this is where you get a bad knee, or you get a bad hip, or, you know, something else goes, and just the quality of your life really does, it's not as enjoyable. You're in pain, you feel awkward all the time, and a lot of this can be prevented if we had just kept ourselves mobile, you know, throughout the years. So yoga is really underrated, and I advise that everybody go and try it, or at least start working on the mobility and static stretching more often. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Overrated, Underrated Fitness Edition. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my opinion on these popular fitness topics, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.